So in honor of the passing of the greatest rock guitar player of all time, Eddie Van Halen, I felt compelled to make a video devoted to learning some Van Halen. 1978, guitar and rock guitar as we know it was changed forever with the release of Van Halen 1 and the iconic guitar solo known as Eruption, which was most notably recognized for Eddie's use of two-hand technique and tapping. He didn't invent it. That's often something people say. Tapping had been around for a while, but for several decades. There's video evidence of jazz players actually incorporating that in like the 40s and 50s. But Eddie revolutionized the technique, as well as the sound of the rock guitar, the sound of a Marshall amp, by changing the wattage and overdriving the amp more than anybody had done to that point to get more distortion. Revolutionized the use of the tremolo bar. He basically used a Fender Strat, which really wasn't a Fender Strat. It was more of I think it had a Charvel body, but used a basic Strat type tremolo system and figured out a way to keep his strings in tune while he did, things like this with his whammy bar. And that sparked a guy named inspiration from a guy named Floyd Rose, who built a tremolo system that had a locking nut that allowed for more abuse of the whammy bar and keep the guitar in tune. So anyway, I could go on and on and on, so I'll get right to it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to use the right-handed tapping technique, and particularly I'll talk about Eddie's the way Eddie approached it, and then show you the cadenza, or at least the last half of the cadenza known as Eruption. So anyway, to get started with tapping technique, basically, if you know how to do a hammer-on or a pull-off in your left hand, you're doing the same thing with your right hand. Basically, you're hammering with your finger, and then when you come off, Eddie's approach was he typically pulled up, because when you pull off with your left hand, your finger's going down because your hand's on this side of the neck. When you're on the top of the neck, your finger's going to go up. Now, you see different players do different things. I've seen people tap and then swipe their finger towards the ground. I never found that to be very effective for me because I grew up in the Van Halen era and was a big fan and played a lot of his stuff as a kid and basically tried to copy Eddie as much as possible. So my finger is tapping like just scraping the fretboard, scraping a stain off the fretboard here. So the point being is, so with tapping, basically, to get started, just hold a note in the left hand. I'm using the 2nd fret of the G string, and I'm tapping the 12th fret of the G string with my right hand. That's a 2-note pattern. Ba, 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 ba. That's all it is. But with tapping, there's so many things that you could do, but what's incorporated exclusively in Eruption is a 3-note pattern. And the 3-note pattern is created, I'm going to show you the frets now, in the actual song, is you're tapping on the 9th fret, you're keeping your first finger in place on the 2nd fret, and start that, like so. Cool. Then the 3rd note is created by hammering the 5th fret with your pinky. So you want to get this in rhythm, and don't move anywhere past this until you can play these 3 notes just in what I'd call like a tapping roll, a 3-note pattern. Make sure that they're all enunciated. Then you tap again. It's really important that you don't take the pinky off until this note is played, because if not, you will create a 4-note pattern like this, which is a great thing to do. It's just not what's in Eruption. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When I teach this to students, or teach tapping in general to students, often explain to them to treat the index finger of the right hand, or whichever finger you use to tap, as what keeps your beat. Ba 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 da da ba da da ba da da ba da da. It really helps you feel the rhythm of it. Just like you're tapping on the steering wheel or tapping your finger on a desk while you're at school, you know. Make sure it's clean. Make sure you hear 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Once it gets natural, just start to speed up a little bit. And that's basically the technique. So now that I've explained that, here's how Eruption basically goes. It's a series of 3-note rolls. I'm going to give you the frets and the amount of times that you play each fret. So it's 8 times of this particular roll of 9, 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you go, simply move your first finger to 10, but still 2 and 5 in the left hand. So 10, 2, 5, 8 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you take the left hand and move up a whole step, which now becomes 10, 4, 7. Let me count the times. Yeah, so sorry, I had to think there for a minute. So 6 times here at 10, 4, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you'll take your first finger and go to 12, and now it's 12, 4, 7, 2 times. So next is 5 and 9 and 12. So in order, you'll go 12, 5, 9. You'll do this 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's what I consider kind of the first third, or maybe the first half of the solo, or of the tapping portion of the solo. So I'm going to go back and do that again. 8 times of 9, 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then move to 10 in the right hand, and it's 10, 2, 5, 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then the left hand moves to 4 and 7, so you have 10, 4, 7, 6 times. Then move the right hand to 12, 12, 4, 7, 2 times. I'm going to play those back to back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. This will stay the same at 12. Then you move the left hand to 5 and 9, so 12, 5, 9, 8 times. Cool. Now the middle portion of this is really neat. It uses what we call contrary motion. Contrary motion. Basically, the high note is going to move up. The middle note is going to move down a half step each. So now I have 13, 5, and 8. And I believe here we go 6 times. And if you're wondering how to count that, count your taps. Count from the beginning, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we'll move the right hand to 15. Do 2 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Then the left hand moves to 7 and 10, 6 times. Right hand will move to 17, so now we have 17, 7, and 10, 2 times. And then the left hand will move to 9 and 12, so we have 17, 9, and 12, 8 times. So that whole middle section again, where we left off at the end of the first section, was 12, 5, and 9. And then we have the first movement is contrary motion, which is now 13, 5, 8, 6 times. 15, 5, 8, 2 times. 15, 7, 10, 6 times. 17, 7, 10, 2 times. And then left hand moves again. 17, 9, 12, 8 times. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the third leg of this is you're going to stay on 17 with the right hand, and your left hand is going to go all the way to 12. And really, I'm going to kind of just knock out a few positions with one fell swoop here. 17 is going to stay, and you're going to, that's this hand. And then you're going to go 12, 15, twice, back a half step to 11 and 14, twice, back a half step to 10 and 13, twice. Let me think through that. 1. Right, you're doing 3 sets of frets here. 12 and 15, 11 and 14, 10 and 13. Then you're going to go back up to 12 and 15, and you're going to walk it down in half steps again, but this time go 4 frets down all the way to the 9th position. So you're going 12 and 15, 11 and 14, 10 and 13, 9 and 12. So each of those are 2 times of the rotation. So let me back up and do that again. So in sequence, we're going 12, I'll go by the first finger here. 12, 11 to 10, then go back to 12, 11, 10, 9, like so. Twice each. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we move the right hand to the 15th fret, and we're going to go twice each, moving in half steps here. So 9, 8, and 7. Then our right hand is going to move to 13. Similar sequence in the left hand. We're going to go 7 to 10, 6 to 9, 5 to 8, and 4 to 7. So we're going twice each. Each one of these are twice. So that whole section again is now the big finish. We're on 4 and 7. I'm going to switch to my pinky. You could use, been using my third, but you could use either finger. So 4 and 7, but now I'm going to the 12th fret here with my right hand. So 12, 4, 7 is my pattern. And I'm going to go 8 times. Then I'm going to shift up to the 5th fret and 8th fret 8 times. And I'll do that twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then once each, this gets really hard. My hand gets really tight when I do this. Yeah, right in here. But you're doing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then you're gonna go back to a 2-note pattern. The only time he does a 2-note pattern. So here I go. 1 and 1. Sorry, will be I believe 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's correct. So 8 times of each, and then 8 times of 1 each. So here's that whole thing. 1, 2, 3. 8 times of each twice. And anyway, sorry, I just confused myself and probably you too. But here it is. I'm going to count it out loud as I go, and it'll make more sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he does a scratch stroke. Now, I'm going to crank it up and play it. Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen.